Alright guys, this is Steve from Box's Car Garage. As you've been asking for, I'm going to start to make a little bit more content, hopefully post some videos and try some editing. So post some comments, tell me how I'm doing with it. It's first time for everything, and hopefully I can keep it going, and we'll see how this journey continues. But in the meantime, just flown back in from work. I've got this lovely STI that is going to be getting pulled apart tonight, and yeah, it's getting a new performance clutch kit and a new flywheel, so watch this space. All right, continuing on with this, to gain access to the clutch and the flywheel, I've opted not to pull the engine on this. I'm going to do it the gearbox removal way. So first off, intercooler out the way, aftermarket blow-off valve. There's a nice shiny new starter motor that's been fitted in there, so we're going to take dog bone off, dog bone mount, heat shield out the way, any electrical cable to O2 sensor, pull the starter motor back, release the clutch slave, and we'll gain the access for the top bell housing bolts around here first, and then we will lift the car up. Alright guys, I've got all that stripped on the top end at the moment. So she's pretty much ready for jacking up in the morning, and going to start pulling the transmission backwards just so we can get access to that clutch kit. If you are doing one of these pull type clutches on the STR WRXs, you've got to remember to pull the pin. You've got to take this out, otherwise you're going to have a hard time pulling that transmission back. Also, I forgot to mention earlier on in the video, because I'm moving the starter motor out the way and the starter's got a live on the back, always disconnect the earth. You don't want any sparks, and you don't want any damage to the computer system on the car, so better to be safe than sorry. We will continue this on in the morning. Right, morning everyone. So car is now lifted up, got it on stands. I've lifted the back end of the car up first, so all the gearbox oil drains to the front. Reason being, I'm going to take the tail shaft off, and I've made up this little homemade tool in here. So it's an old cut off tail shaft. I'll put that in the back of the transmission, and that will stop any oil from leaking out. Tools that are required for underneath the car. First job that we're going to do is we're going to remove the exhaust system out of the way, remove the transmission plate, tail shaft off, move that plate out of the way, and then we'll be able to get to the transmission mount under the gear linkage up there and the rear O2 sensor. Right. All right, we are now ready for the gearbox to come backwards, so we can get that. We can see that gap starting to open up now. All the bell housing bolts are off, exhaust out the way, pop the drive shafts out. Little trick for doing that, don't even need to take the wheels off, pop them out, just hold them open, bit of wood. The gearbox is supported by the jack at the moment. We've got the drive shaft off, exhaust off, the gearbox mounting off, and she is ready to come a little bit backwards. Hopefully give us access to the clutch. So that's giving me a nice gap I can work in there. Reason it was a little bit harder to get this transmission back, reason being I've actually had to unloosen the turbo off and lift that mount, because the VF turbo sits slightly into a groove on the transmission here. So undo the turbo, lift her up a little bit, and she just clears the side of the gearbox. So time to get this out and replace the flywheel. All right, and we're out. Clutch, new flywheel is going to go in. Customers opted for a performance lightweight one, and that was a performance clutch on it. Reason for changing it out, it had a pretty bad shudder as soon as you started taking off. So locked crank, bit of homemade tooling, and old flywheel is out of the way. I'm going to give that a good clean up as well. All right, let's start the reassembly. All right, we have got clutch and flywheel back in. And the alignment tool is same place. Also, do not forget to align your release bearing, because once you click that into place, she is stuck there. We are ready to put the gearbox back up against the engine now. And like I explained earlier, I've just left a slight gap where I've disconnected the turbo so that can go slide under there quite nicely. Alright, let's see how this goes. Alright, gearbox is back in. It did put up a bit of a fight. Yeah, just trying to get that alignment as well as trying to push back on the floor. It's pretty difficult, but eventually got it started. A couple of bolts in. I've just got to get the turbo bolts wound back up now, and then pop the front drive shafts in, and then we'll lift the back end up so we don't lose any oil at the back of the gearbox. And she's going back together well. Alright, all the underneath drivetrain is all back together. Only things left to do: I've clicked the clutch in place, so the lathe cylinder is back on, the exhaust is mounted back up, O2 sensor connected, all the bellows and bolts have tightened. Just got the starter throw back in with the earth strap, and it'll be the heat shield and intercooler to wrap it up. So it's taking a little bit longer than normal because obviously I'm videoing this, but normal job for this turnaround time. Probably do one on the floor in about 4 hours. Just to wrap up the end of the video, I didn't get a video of the test drive, but she is all finished, and customer is going to go pick her up tomorrow. Absolute stunning example of imported SDI. Very tidy. I'm sure I'll see this back again. Servicing and maintenance. It was good.